Whoa, 3 copies of Hulk #1. We got a 9.6 extensive B5 restoration. This looks like a virtually perfect copy of Hulk #1. Who knows how much of it is real and how much isn't. People don't like that. So right now, a restored 9.6 is bidding at half an unrestored 6.0. This is the highest graded copy. There's no unrestored 9.6. There is one restored 9.6, and it is this. So this is, we can say, the highest graded copy of Incredible Hulk. There's a huge caveat on that. It's restored, but there is no other 9.6 of Incredible Hulk #1 in existence. And it's going for half what an unrestored 6.0 is going for. The Incredible Hulk. It's the first appearance of the Hulk, highest graded copy, and it's going for $10,000. This is the third in my ongoing ComicLink fall auction preview videos. This is all just prelude to the ComicLink fall auction, which is happening next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. So I'm going through all of them, and then I'm going to cover the auction closings when they happen next week. This is the third one. It takes me a while to edit these videos down, so I'm probably on deadline here trying to get this video up before the actual closings start. I hope this is the last one in the series. I may have to make it into more videos, but here comes part 3 in the previews. I'm trying to go faster. I'm trying not to dwell. I say that, I'm trying not to dwell, and then I scroll, and then I immediately hit another thing that I have to spend a long time talking about. This particular auction, one of the cool things going on in this auction is they've got a ton of pre-Batman detective issues. Detective Comics 27, of course, is the first appearance of Batman, but that book had been running for several years prior and was just a pulp comic. This auction has an unusually large number of pre-Batman detectives. You don't see them very often. Starting with number 6, which is 1937. Then we've got a very pulp, crimey detective number 9, and then 11, which it does make me think of Batman. Looking at this cover, you got this detective climbing a brick wall with a rope. It reminds me of one of the recurring gimmicks of the 60s Batman TV show when Batman and Robin were climbing up the wall and then Sammy Davis Jr. would stick his head out the window. Of course, that's nothing to do with what's going on here, but it just makes me think of it. This is Detective 22. Cover date is December 1938, and in June, May or June, I think June of 1938, that was Action Comics #1. Made a big splash. Superheroes were suddenly the thing. There was a huge amount of interest. Of course, DC reoriented their whole line to jump on the superhero thing, but they were still figuring it out. And here we got, in December 38, the Crimson Avenger, who is a character I've never heard of. I don't know how much they used him, but he's got a mask, he's got a cape. Not quite, he's more like the Shadow, but kind of like Sandman in Adventure Comics. They're figuring out this whole superhero thing. He's still carrying a gun. So they hadn't worked out the tropes of superheroes quite yet. And then again, in Detective 25, we've got a very Dick Tracy looking character. He's got a mask. You know, he looks actually much more like the Spirit, standing here in the window with a guy with a gun standing outside the window. So they're kind of angling, they're kind of honing in on the superhero thing, figuring out how they're going to do it. This is Detective 25, and then I think they even have Detective Comics 26. It's not a particularly interesting cover, but it's Detective Comics 26. In 4.5, this is a very old label. Bidding on this is $2,300. It's like Amazing Fantasy 14. Have you ever seen a copy of Amazing Fantasy 14? It has nothing to do with Spider-Man. It was a science fiction anthology book. It's just funny that there is an Amazing Fantasy 14, which is worth about 1/1000th what Amazing Fantasy 15 is worth. Same thing here, Detective Comics 26 in 4.5, fair market value of $10,000. Then we got Detective Comics 27 at 4.5, $675,000. 67 times the fair market of Detective Comics 26. We all know why, but this isn't going for anywhere near 10,000. It's bidding's at 2,300. I know there are some people who are really into pre-Batman detectives, so I think these will do well. And then of course we got the post-Batman detectives. There's no 27, there's no 29 or 31, but we do have 36. in 0.5 grade. It's a very nice looking 0.5. Bidding on this is $5,000. It's hard to say with 0.5s because they go all over the place. You can get really ugly 0.5s and you can get some very nice 0.5s. This is a very nice 0.5. I imagine it's a disaster on the inside, but on the outside it looks very nice. And really, isn't that what matters these days? It's in a slab anyway. Fair market on 0.5 is $4,900. This is already going for better than that, and that's because it's a really nice looking cover. And it says in the notes the centerfold is missing. So this is an incomplete book, but it's in a case. It's a Batman cover from 1940. It's a racist Batman cover. It's got some racist depictions in here. Please don't argue with me on this. Just trust me, okay? But if we just look at this side of the comic, and just look at this, it's a great cover. Then we got Detective 41. Here comes the Batman again. Bunch of early detectives. I don't think there's many keys in here. Oh, we got a Two-Face. This is not the first appearance of Two-Face. Is this the first appearance of Two-Face? No. Second appearance of the Penguin, but it's not on the cover. And this is the first Two-Face cover. Very few Two-Face appearances from the Golden Age, but there are some. I want to see a closer look at this because I don't know how nasty looking the Two-Face was in the Golden Age. Yeah, I don't think they really made him hideously deformed until the Bronze Age version when Neil Adams got a hold of him. And then this cover is strange. Batman and Robin versus the Phantom of the Library. Dick Sprang. This is a Dick Sprang cover. That explains it. This is good old Dick Sprang with Detective 106 and 9.0. $567. Then we've got some keys. We've got the first appearance of the Riddler. Most first appearances of Batman villains don't have great covers to go along with them. They didn't put them on the cover until later. This one does. It's the first Riddler, Detective 140 from 1948, still Golden Age. I don't know that Riddler appeared again until the Silver Age. Detective 140 and 7.0 is going for $7,450. Fair market is $23,000. It's got a long way to go. I think it should get there. I don't know that it will, but I think it should. Then we got a Joker cover with Detective 158. This is very close to Detective 168, which is a very important Batman key. It's got the red hood with the Joker origin story. This just appears to have a mask of the Joker on the cover, and it's got Dr. Doom. This is DC from 1950 debuting their version of Dr. Doom. And it's got the penny, the giant penny on the wall in the background, which became a fixture of Golden and Silver Age depictions of the Batcave. You'd always see that giant penny. This might be the story where he gets the giant penny. Then we got this late Silver Age detective key with the new Batgirl. This is the Barbara Gordon Batgirl in 9.0, bidding at $1,900, but I'm trying to go quickly. I'm not going to dwell. Exciting comics. This is not a very good artist. He's probably dead now, or she, so I can say it without offending anybody. This artist struggled with their proportions. I don't think this was a very well-schooled illustrator, but there's something about these covers that I find very interesting. I can't even really describe it. This is a bizarre alien creature that he's awkwardly punching in the, I don't know what you'd call it. I'm not even sure he's really punching him. He's just kind of doing this with his fist. It's aptly titled. This is very exciting. And we have another exciting comic where a man is shooting a gorilla while holding a woman. Have you ever thought about how difficult it would be to shoot a gun while you're holding a person in a pith helmet? Exciting move into the hero game in 1942 with Black Terror. We saw those Black Terror comics earlier. Here is the Black Terror with his sidekick. Who knows what his sidekick's name is, but boy, I can't look at these guys without thinking of the ambiguously gay duo from Saturday Night Live. Can you? Then we get into famous monsters of Filmland. Wow. I don't know the last time I've seen an auction that had 3 copies of Fantastic Four #1 in it. We got a 7.5, a 6.5, and a 4.5. I got mine right here in 4.0. These are all quite a bit higher than that one. We'll see how well Fantastic Four is doing these days after taking a hit with the movie. The movie was fine. I think there was a lot of speculation leading up to it. It just seems to have tanked prices for reasons I can't entirely explain. The 7.5 is the highest grade. It's off-white to white. Currently going at $28,000 with a fair market of $54,000. 6.5 off-white to white is going for $17,000 with a fair market of $39,000. So these are all bidding at about half of their fair markets right now. $17,000, bidding at $11,000. With 3 copies, the bidding's split. It's unlikely that they're going to do very well. I think this auction, we're going to see these prices all go for below fair market. And then we got a 9.2. I was very excited about the 9.4, the Fantastic Four 2 in the last summer featured auction. Here they've got a 9.2. This is scarce in very high grades. I think that one ended up going for about $48,000. This one's bidding at $6,000. Last sold in 2008 for $10,000. So who knows? Who knows what the fair market is? Here they've got the last sale in 2022 for $78,000, but I know ComicLink sold it for $48,000. The 9.2 is going to go for less than 48, probably about half that. Probably 24. That seems reasonable as an off-white pages. I'm going to go on record saying I think this is going to sell for about $24,000, bidding at $6,000. We'll see if I'm wrong. Then we got another one of the big, I say this is in the top 5 highest sales for this auction. This is an extraordinarily good copy of Fantastic Four number 5. First Doctor Doom. This book, as I have talked about in other videos, is more scarce than Fantastic Four number 1. First appearance of Doctor Doom is hard to find, and when you do find it, it's not in high grade. Let's see what we got here. We got 4 9.6s. Okay, 14 9.4s and 19 9.2s. I've been looking at a lot of Golden Age populations. For Silver Age, this is pretty scarce. There are no 9.8 copies. There are 37 in 9.2 and above. This is one of them. They're putting the fair market at 9.2 at 120,000. The fair market at 9.4 at 120,000. Huh. I'm not sure whether the 9.2 needs to go down or the 9.4 needs to go up, but based on how these books have been selling lately, I'd say the 9.2 is going to go down. And that's what they've got at this auction, currently bidding at $69,000. I have a feeling that this one, it's white pages though. This is a 9.2 white pages. All right, given the white pages, I was going to say it was going to sell for about $100,000, but given the white pages, I think it'll go a little higher. I bet this is going to sell for around 110. Still below book, because remember, you've got the 9.4 also at 120,000. So something's got to give. That is a beautiful copy. Here's my copy, 5.0, which I've shown before. 5.0 off-white to white, and this is 5.0 off-white to white. So I have exactly the same comic in the same grade, in the same page quality as this auction has. I will be watching that one sell very closely. It's bidding at $3,000. It better go for more than that. If it doesn't, folks, get in, get it. That's amazing. And this is a nice looking 5.0. Now, holding them side by side. Oh my gosh, is this my copy? It's got the same spine ticks. Same page quality. This copy looks better than mine. If I was holding this copy and this copy in my hands right now and I could pick one, I'd probably take this one over this. This should go for at least twice what it's bidding for. And that's not just because I have a stake in it and a vested interest in it selling well. Of course I do. But regardless of that, it should go for a lot more. A bunch more Fantastic Fours. I got to stop at 12. So I can show off my copy at 12. This is an 8.0 off-white to white. Mine is a raw, ungraded, maybe 2.0 if I'm lucky, that I picked up at a show not long ago. Then we got 13 in 9.0 off-white to white pages. Mine is creamed off-white pages. Also 9.0, just like this one. So I've got another book in the same grade as the book at auction, although slightly different page quality. I'm going to be watching this one with an eye towards possibly selling this one. I don't particularly need to have it. It's the first appearance of the Watcher, which I think should be more of a key than it is. As I've complained about before, they didn't put the Watcher on the cover. If I see this sell well, I might just send this over to ComicLink for their next auction and see if they'll sell it. We got another book I love, this one in 9.8. I watched Fantastic Four 26 sell in 9.8 at the last auction. I think it sold for a great price. I think it was about $9,700 or $10,000 if I can recall. And here we got it again, selling for $10,850. And we got a last sale here, 2012 for $13,000. 2012 it sold for $13,000. The 9.6 fair market is $4,900. So the 9.8 is going to be somewhere between 2 and 3 times that. So between $10,000 and $15,000 is where this should be. And it's already bidding at $10,850. As I've said, it's the Secret Wars of the Silver Age. You got the original Avengers, the Fantastic Four, all battling the Hulk. It should be one of the top Fantastic Four keys, and I don't believe it is. I'm scrolling through a bunch of FF books. We got 4 Fantastic Four 48s. I don't know why anybody is selling their FF48 right now. It's gone down so far in price. They've got a 9.6, a 9.4, a 9.2, and an 8.5. I'm not going to dwell on this one. I've gone through. This is just, every auction has a bunch of these books. Then we got Fantastic Four Annual number 2. They got a 9.0 copy. I picked mine up in 5.5. I'm actually looking to sell this because I upgraded. I got a 7.5. This is a spec book, obviously. It's one of the top Doctor Doom covers. I mean, look at it. It's the origin of Doctor Doom. He's as big as Galactus on the cover, and this is a 9.0. So this is bidding at 765. Fair market's 2,500, really? Fair market's 2,500 in 9.0. Annual 6, which went up because it was a spec book for the Fantastic Four movie because it's got the birth of Franklin Richards, and now that is all in the past. This is a 9.6 CVA label. Bidding's at 1,900. Let's see where it's at now. It's been dropping. 72.50, still 72.50. Let's see what the curve looks like. Curve shot up. It sold 3 years ago for $22,000 when the movie was in production and people were excited. They bought this book for $22,000. Now it's down to 72.50, 1/3 the price. The lowest recent sale is on Heritage from 2 years ago. 2 years before the movie came out for $7,200. That's odd. I don't think it's going to go for much more than it's bidding at. I think it'll go for maybe $3,000 or $4,000 tops. And this fair market value has got to be adjusted. This is an Annual 6. It's from 1968. So this is well after the peak era of Lee and Kirby. It's a spec book. It's going down. Foom 10 is what I want to talk about. This is a 9.8 white pages copy of Foom 10. I think Foom was like a Marvel fan magazine put out by Marvel probably, or some Marvel affiliated group, but it was previewing things coming up soon in Marvel, and as a result, you had the first Wolverine in Foom number 8 or 6 or 1 or something like that inside the book, not on the cover. The very first depiction of Wolverine prior to Hulk 181. And then here in Foom number 10, you've got the debut of the new X-Men. This predates Giant Size X-Men number 1, and it shows the characters we already know, but for the first time, Storm, Thunder, Hawk, Colossus, Wolverine, Nightcrawler. Wolverine we'd seen prior. We've got 4 characters here debuting for the first time prior to Giant Size X-Men number 1. This is not going to be valued as high as Giant Size X-Men 1. It's not the story. It's not the whole Krakoa thing. It's not Second Genesis. But it is the first time these characters were shown. And they're right here on the cover. And this is a 9.8 white pages copy. $5,600 is what the bidding's at. I don't even know if this is covered in Go Collect. Is Go Collect cover Foom? I think it's more of a magazine. If it's in here, I don't know how to find it. So I don't know how to get the prices on this. It's a 9.8 white pages. It's got them on the cover. A 9.8 of Giant Size X-Men 1 would be $20,000 or $30,000 at least, maybe 40 or 50. And this is currently bidding at $5,600. I wouldn't be surprised if it broke 10,000. Here we got Giant Size X-Men 1 in 9.8 white pages. So we can see currently bidding at $14,500, and it's going to sell for twice that, most likely. How many more Giant Size X-Men's do we have? Let's see on the next page. We got a 9.6. We got a 9.6 CBCS. These are both white pages. And then we got an 8.0 off-white to white and a 7.5 off-white to white. We got 5 Giant Size X-Men 1s in this auction. I recently did a big video where I advised people not to buy this book. I say that with a heavy heart because I love this book. And you know what? If you want it, and if you like the price, I'm going to contradict myself and say go for it, because it's Giant Size X-Men 1. And as somebody rightfully pointed out in the comments, I'm giving long-term advice. And for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, would buying a copy of Giant Size X-Men 1 now be a good idea? 30 years from now, yeah, it would. Right now, is right now the time to buy it? Maybe not. Maybe wait another 6 months or a year as prices continue to fall, or I could be wrong. They got 5 copies, so that's another thing. You got 5 copies in this auction, so the bidding is split. You got a good chance of getting one for below book value here. You don't need a 9.8. You don't need to spend $30,000 on a 9.8. You can get an 8.0 for $2,000 probably. $2,500 maybe? Okay, this one is the exact same book that was in the summer featured auction 3 months ago. It's a PGX signature 9.6. I don't even know if it's restored or not. I don't know how to read the PGX labels. I so rarely see PGX books. The thing with this, I watched this sell. The fair market value on a 9.6 for this book is $34,000. This is the first appearance of Swamp Thing. Beautiful Bernie Wrightson cover. But this is not a CGC 9.6, it's a PGX. So it sold for about $12,000 or $12,500. And I think what happened is the buyer had remorse. And so they've just flipped it right into this next auction. There's a lot to be said for this book. It sold for $12,000 and change last time, which I think was probably about right with a fair market of $34,000. It's a gamble. If you take it out of this PGX case, you don't know what is going to happen to it with CGC. Maybe give PSA a try. PSA is on the rise. They seem to be given generous grades. There's probably something you could do with this book. At the end of the day, it is a House of Secrets 92. It is the first appearance of Swamp Thing, and it's a really nice looking book. Outside of the case, who knows? I hope somebody takes a chance on this. I hope the person who bought it and is selling it right away gets out of this without taking a bath. Unfortunately for them, there is also a 9.0 unrestored right next to it. That's not going to do good things for the price on this 9.6 PGX. However, well, look at that. The bidding on this 9.0 is $4,000. The bidding on this 9.6 is $5,300. I'm kind of pulling for this person now. I want them to get out of this in one piece. So I hope it sells for $12,000 and change. This 9.0 unrestored fair market is $5,250 and the 9.6 is $40,000. It's gone up. The fair market on this is $40,000 now. That's good news for the seller. And the 9.0 is $5,250. All right, we got Human Torch. I never really spend long on the Human Torch, but then we got Hulk. Whoa, 3 copies of Hulk #1. And an interesting one. It's a bit like the Amazing Fantasy 15. We got a 9.6 extensive B5 restoration. You don't see Bs very often in restoration. You usually see A, sometimes you see C. So this is extensive, semi-professional restoration. They're pretty professional because they apparently got it up to a 9.6. What is the restoration? Color touch, pieces added, tear seals, spine split sealed, reinforced, cleaned, interior lightened, re-glossed. Ooh, re-glossed. That's the bad one. That's probably the thing people don't like. Yeah, this looks like a virtually perfect copy of Hulk #1, but it is virtually perfect because someone went to town on it, and who knows how much of it is real and how much isn't. People don't like that. And that is why the 9.6 is bidding at $10,000 and the unrestored 7.0 is bidding at $32,000. The unrestored 6.0 is bidding at $20,000. So right now, a restored 9.6 is bidding at half an unrestored 6.0. Oh, and it's signed. That's weird. It's got that silver Sharpie Stan Lee signature, but it's not in a signature case. I guess it wasn't authenticated. I don't think anybody doubts that it's really a Stan Lee signature because Stan Lee signatures were not hard to get. Fair market on a 6.0 is $36,000. Fair market on a 7.0 is $52,000. And everything's about half of what its fair market is. These will go up. These will get there. This 9.6 I'm worried about. I don't know what's going to happen to that. Let's see if there's any sales. There's one. This is the highest. It's the highest graded copy. Highest restored copy. Is there a 9.6? No. There isn't. There's no unrestored 9.6. There is one restored 9.6, and it is this. So this is, we can say, this is the highest graded copy of Incredible Hulk. There's a huge caveat on that. It's restored, but there is no other 9.6 of Incredible Hulk #1 in existence. And it's going for half what an unrestored 6.0 is going for. That seems like an opportunity. When else are you going to be able to say you have the highest graded copy of the first appearance of a Silver Age Marvel character? The Incredible Hulk. It's the first appearance of the Hulk. Highest graded copy. And it's going for $10,000. Somebody's going to jump on this. In most instances, I would say yes, okay, the 6.0 should go for higher. But there is no 9.6 unrestored copy. This is a very unusual book to find in high grade because the cover is dark. This dark cover shows its flaws very easily. Anything that happens on the spine of this book is going to be easy to spot, so you have very few at high grade. Obviously, a restorer came in and they just painted over all those tears. But this is a 9.6. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I mean, people who have Dealers, collectors, chime in here. If you have strong feelings about restoration, you tell me why this 9.6 should sell for half as much as an unrestored 6.0. Tell me that I'm wrong and it shouldn't go for more. Looking at the scans, that may just be the quality of the scan. I can see, okay, yeah, I can see there's something going on, and that's probably the reglossing. I don't know what reglossing is or why it's deemed necessary, but it seems to have kind of makes everything look smudged compared to these other ones. It doesn't help this 9.6 that we have these other scans to look at, to compare. I can see how it looks kind of weird, but still, that's another one I'm going to be very interested to watch. What happens with these three copies? This is going to be a fun auction to watch close. There's a lot of which way is it going to go auctions with the split bids in this one. Then we got 180 and 181. Not very exciting. Only 3 copies. There was some restraint exercised in how many 181s they put in this auction. Oh, this is the whole 181. So you do see a lot of 181s with a Marvel value stamp missing. There was a little stamp that people cut out. Some decent percentage of 181s had that stamp removed from it, so they get a qualified grade. I haven't seen very many of them though. So they got a 9.8 off-white to white, and they got a 9.8 qualified white pages. If you don't care about having a blue label, this might be your chance to get a 9.8 181. Wow. Wow, I nearly skipped right by this. This 9.8 is auctioning at $42,000. That's where the bidding at. And the 9.8 with the Marvel value stamp removed, how much does it go down in value for missing a little stamp on page 10? The bidding's at $2,500. That's 1/17 the price on, in some ways, a better book. This is a white pages and this is an off-white to white pages. The price it's paying for having that little stamp removed on page 10, which you will never see because it's in a case, is $2,500. I might just bid on this. If it stays down low like that, man, what are qualified 9.8s like for this book? There are 1,300 qualified books. That's all these qualified. Virtually all of these, I'm sure, are because of the Marvel value stamp. But there's only one 9.8 qualified. Sold 2 years ago for $9,600. Let's see if it's this one. 43155. 43155. This is it. We got the very same copy. So it sold 2 years ago, almost 2 years to the day, on Heritage for $9,600. And it is one of a kind. It is the only qualified 9.8. So folks, I hope I get this up in time, and I hope somebody here watching jumps on this. I'm probably not gonna. You know, this sold 2 years ago for $9,600, which is a huge discount on 181 values. I would never tell anybody to buy a Hulk 181. I'm very annoyed by this book. It's just not a good story. It is the first Wolverine though, and this is a unique opportunity to get one if you don't care about a green label for a screaming deal. You get it for less than $9,600. You paid less than the buyer paid for it. You know that much. All you need is two. All you need is 2 bidders who don't care that much about the Marvel value stamp being removed, and it'll shoot up in price. It's probably not going to stay below $9,600, but if it does, whew. And then you got the 9.2. You got a 9.8 for $2,500, and you got a 9.2 for $5,800. Fair market is $7,200, and it's bidding down at $5,800. 9.8s are going for $70,000, which is ridiculous. The bidding's at $42,000. King size special number 1 of the Hulk. I think this is one of the best late Silver Age covers. It's Jim Steranko. I got mine. I got really lucky with it. I got this for literally nothing. I did some work for somebody, and this was a comic I wanted, and this was a long time. It was about 17 years ago. I said, ooh, I really want a king size Hulk 1. I'll take that in payment, and they gave me this book, and then I got it graded and got a 9.6, and it is quite valuable in 9.6. Worth even more in 9.8. Bidding's already at $3,200, and I think the fair market's a couple thousand more than that. $10,500. $10,000 for a 9.8, $3,000 for a 9.6. This one's going for $3,200. And then we got Invincible 1. I don't care about that. First Thanos right here, 9.6. Stan Lee's signature. He's even got his own label. Didn't have anything to do with the book, but there he is. He'll sign it. Bidding's at $938. Journey into Mystery, 83. They got 2 7.0s. You don't see that much. 2 copies in exactly the same grade. This is a white pages. This is also a white pages. They should be bidding for exactly the same amount, but they're not. Wait, is there a difference here? Oh, it's the UK price variant. Boy, this is interesting. Okay, that's why they have 2 copies in the same grade. This is a UK price variant, which is more of a thing than it should be. I talked to a guy who has some UK price variants, and he was telling me they're printed at the same printer as the US copies, and he thinks this is hard to verify, but there's a credible theory that they were printed before the US copies were printed. So they were earlier off the presses, should have fresher ink tanks when they were printed. Nevertheless, they go for a fraction of the prices of the US versions. This has 12 cents in the upper left, and this one has 9 pence in the upper left. I think it was pence. So this is a UK price variant, but it's 7.0 white pages. Just like the Hulk 181 we just looked at, if you want to get a copy of the first Thor, here's your chance. If you don't mind that it's a UK price variant, and you don't mind that other people mind, and it's just not worth as much, it's still the first appearance of Thor, and it was printed in the same run with the other copies. Now, there are UK variants from later on that were printed. They'd send the plates over to England, and they were printed separately on lower quality paper. I do believe that is a thing. In the early days, they just printed them at the same time and shipped them probably by boat over to the UK to sell. There's nothing wrong with these UK price variants. The market just doesn't like them as much. I got my copy for a great price a long time ago. Mine's a 3.5. I would trade my 12-cent 3.5 in a heartbeat for this 7.0 white pages. No question. Well, some question, but not much of a question. I would do it. Then you got a 4.5 off-white to white pages. Got a bunch of Marvels here. I'm not even going to stop at a single one. I'm scrolling through this whole page. All right. Hopefully that's the end of the fall auction previews. Hopefully I got through all the books in these 3 videos. If I had to extend into more videos, then I may not be done here, and there may be more to come. You'll know better than I. If I've got through X-Men, then I finished. But if we're earlier in the alphabet, then I decided that it was getting too long and I had to cut it short. Then you're going to see a 4th auction preview, and hopefully that'll be the last one. But if I did get through X-Men, then that'll be all you'll hear from me until the actual closings start. And it'll take me a while to get that closing video up, because then I have to edit that down, and then there's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. So I got a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of talking. I'm going to be losing my voice every night. Tell me what you think. Are these videos too long? What can I do better? How can I make this more of a thing? Because I do like doing these, and I plan to keep on doing them. I would love to hear your feedback on how these could be better. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.